Hello, everyone. My name is Julie Sanders, and I am an independent ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. I am here tonight. I'd like to talk to you about immune function and how the TriPlex helps with that. Let me start by reading my disclosure. The following disclaimer, the following presentation is brought to you by independent ambassadors with Plexus Worldwide and is not sponsored by Plexus Worldwide. Plexus does not claim to cure, prevent, treat, or diagnose any disease. The information you are about to hear is for educational purposes only. Consult your physician before beginning any regimen with supplements. All right, so most of you probably know my story. I started Plexus to try to lose 10 pounds in a month, and that did not happen. But what happened surprised me, and I keep getting surprised at more and more and more. And I became healthy, and my health just keeps getting better. And the thing that is just my heartbeat is your immune function and Plexus. And I've been blown away with how strong my immune system is. Excuse me as I cough. But anyway, I have not had any of the things that I was susceptible to before Plexus. For almost 2 years now, I've not had hardly anything happening immune system-wise. I've just been healthy. And so I would like to share with you why the TriPlex is so effective at boosting your immune system and what it's doing and what things are involved. And so I'm a little bit of a geek, so I've done a bunch of research, and I hope to share with you in a memorable way so that you have it. Okay, so I would like you to think about your immune system as a well-run army. It is in your gut. About 80% of your immune system is in your gut. Also, the pathogens tend to be in your gut, also the bad guys that they're fighting. And so you have a battle going on in your gut. It's really a war. And so if your immune system is an army, you have some goals for that army. You want it to be a large, well-organized, well-supplied, well-trained fighting force for good. Okay, that's really what you want. You want your immune system to be world-class fighting force. And the trouble is that almost all of us in America have several things going against us. The first one is antibiotic use and steroid use. And then other things would include things like genetically modified food. If we're eating mutant wheat, that is actually a problem. It's causing all kinds of stuff in our systems. Things like the standard American diet, eating fried foods, high-fat junk, processed things that aren't actually food that we're putting in our bodies, all the excessive sugar, all of these things hurt our immune system army. But the two biggest ones are antibiotic use and steroid use. So what happens with an antibiotic is you have a bad guy and it's winning. So the doctor prescribes antibiotics for, 10 days or 5 days or whatever you get. And basically it's an A-bomb. It goes into your system and it destroys everything. So it destroys the thing that was making you sick so you feel better. However, it destroys your good guys in your immune system, and then you're more susceptible to bad guys. Okay, steroids are a different thing. Steroids are actually an immunosuppressant. So rather than going in and destroying everything, it's like telling your army to stand down. And so the bad guys get emboldened. They hang back and they regroup and they come back stronger. Meanwhile, your immune system is weaker. And so steroid use and antibiotic use, and then as well as all of the toxins in our environment, like I said, the poor diet and everything, all of that really decimates our army. And it's very hard to rebuild it. So in the end, where we are in America is that most of us are running around with a ragtag gang of men with pitchforks for an army. And that's our army in our gut. they're working their hardest and they're doing everything they can to fight off the bad guys, but they can't win. They don't have what they need. They're not trained. There's not enough of them. They don't have weapons. And we end up sicker and sicker because of what has happened to us. So how do you rebuild an army when you have a group of men with pitchforks? How do you go from not having anything to having a well-run army? Well, you start with recruiting and basic training. So that is where this comes in. Plexus ProBio 5 is my very favorite product of everything that we have. This thing is such a bang for your buck. It's just incredible. So basically, you start with recruiting. ProBio 5 has 5 kinds of healthy, good bacteria, 5 different strains. So if you're a military recruiter, you are not looking for the same kind of person to fit every position in the Army. You're going to need engineers, you're going to need scientists, you're going to need fighters, you're going to need athletic people, you're going to need people who can drive trucks. You're going to need a variety of people so that you can have a well-rounded fighting force. So when you have 5 strains of good bacteria, you have a well-rounded fighting force. And these bacteria are not just any, they are the top of the best ones. These are the elite fighters. Okay, and so ProBio 5 is amazing. So when you start taking ProBio 5 and you recruit these good guys, it's like basic training. This is like boot camp for your body. And now we all know that boot camp is not fun. Boot camp is hard. It's hard work. It leaves you feeling doubtful. Did I do the right thing? Can I do this? I'm not sure I can make it. All of these things run through a person's mind when they're going through boot camp. Know that boot camp is hard and it's going to take work, but it's going to be worth it, because on the other side, you are going to be ready to fight. So that is my advice. When you take ProBio 5, this is a battle and you're going to win. Keep taking it. Now, the other thing about boot camp is that it is not an overnight deal. You don't start off, graduating high school and you go to boot camp and on day 2, you're ready. This is weeks and weeks and weeks of training and consistency and discipline and teamwork to get this to happen. So it's the same with ProBio 5. You don't take ProBio 5 and feel better in the morning. You take it consistently for months. And when you get to the point where you have a fighting force, you feel amazing. But it takes a long time. It is so much like boot camp. Now, the other thing is that you have to be consistent. Those men in boot camp, when they get up every morning to run their 5 miles, they get up every morning. This is not once a week. It's not here and there, once in a while. They get up same time every day. They do the same drills every day. They do more drills. They work harder. They do more. Same with ProBio 5. You keep taking it every day. And that's how you build your fighting force. Because with natural supplements, it's not like antibiotics where you take it in and it's a bomb. Basically, you're taking a little at a time and you're rebuilding. And you're rebuilding, and you're rebuilding. It takes time. It's not the same thing as a medicine, but it's incredible when you get there. Hang in there and know that it's going to work. Now, an army is well organized, right? You don't have people doing their own thing. You have a chain of command. It's well organized. So I like to think of it this way. With the ProBio 5, it has 2 billion colony-forming units, CFUs. A colony is groups of bacteria that are similar. So you have, this kind of good guy. Of these 5 strains we have, there's 2 billion colony-forming units in each capsule. So this is the organization that as they get together with like strains, they chain together and they become a fighting force. It becomes a regiment in your army. And so just know that it is a well-organized system. Okay, now your army needs weapons, and guess what? ProBio 5 has the weapons. This is so awesome. This is the thing that really gets me excited. So the bad guys in your gut have a hard outer shell. It's like an armor made of chitin. Chitin is the substance that is on the outside of a cockroach. It's that tough, crunchy shell. But anyway, that's the thing that nothing can break through. It's impenetrable, right? And so probiotics, normal probiotics, they bounce off of it. They cannot get through the armor. The armor of this bad guys is called chitin, but it has a kryptonite, and that is called chitosanase. And it's right here in ProBio 5. Chitosanase is a digestive enzyme that actually eats through the chitin. And once it eats through the armor, then it has grapeseed extract. And grapeseed extract is a natural antifungal, and that will kill the thing inside the armor. And that's when you start getting healthy. When that stuff goes away, you're going to feel much better than you ever did before. Okay, now an army also has supply lines, right? You never want to have your army get its supply lines cut off because they'll starve and they won't be able to fight. So the supply lines is right here. This new baby, the new Plexus Slim, has provided the supply lines for your ProBio 5. Now, I love this. I'm so excited. It has a great new flavor. It has all the old great stuff that the Plexus Slim had before, but they've added prebiotics. They're called XOS. I'm going to probably butcher this name, xylo-oligosaccharides. They are derived from non-GMO corn, so it's plant-based, as with all the other Plexus stuff. And the thing is that these things have numbers that are incredible. So a prebiotic is different than a probiotic. A probiotic is a microbe that is for life. It means for life. It's a good guy microbe. A prebiotic is actually food for the good guys, food for probiotics. So in Plexus Slim, we have this XOS prebiotics. They feed the good guys. Now, I want you to hear these numbers. I'm going to butcher these names also because I'm not a nurse. But the new Slim, when you add the XOS prebiotics, it increases your lactobacillus by 365 times. That is huge. Can you imagine if you have a colony of 800 million and you multiply that by 365? That's a lot. I can't do that number. That's a lot. And almost all of your probiotics have lactobacillus. That is like the main, when you think of probiotics, that's the main one that you get in any strain that you get from any place. That is generally the one you pick up. Okay. It also increases bifidobacteria by 290 times, which is another one. By the way, those two probiotics are in ProBio 5. The next one, though, this is crazy. This is the groundbreaking thing with this prebiotic. It increases Akkermansia by 250 times. Akkermansia is a newly discovered bacteria that is linked to obesity. If people are obese, they don't have very much. And if they're healthy, they have quite a bit of this. So it turns out that Slim increases Akkermansia by 250%. That means if you have Akkermansia in your gut, which most people do, they just don't usually have a lot of it, it will 200 times more Akkermansias is going to be really, really good for weight loss. It's good for metabolism and immune function, all that. So I'm super excited about that. It also increases butyrate by 58% and propionate by 25%. These are all very good substances in your body, and this multiplies them. And so, I mean, wow, this is incredible. So let me just say, the Akkermansia is not available as a probiotic at this point. No one sells Akkermansia. It's already in your gut, and Plexus Slim will increase it by 250 times. So I'm super excited about that. And when you get your good guys forming large platoons, large colonies of the good guys, you're going to have much, much increased health. Now, there's one other thing about an army. when you're going into battle, you need to choose a battlefield that is going to be advantageous to your side. Okay, right now, most people in America have a very acidic gut. And guess who loves acidic guts? Bad guys. They love it. And so they've had the home field advantage. But when you add this little baby, BioCleanse, and it does a whole bunch of stuff, I'm just going to touch on a couple of them. BioCleanse actually changes the pH of your gut to make it more neutral. The less acid you have in your gut, the less the bad guys have an advantage of winning. And the good guys do have an advantage. So you are changing the environment for the battle to be on your side with the BioCleanse. Another thing the BioCleanse does, and I love this, it oxygenates your cells in your body. So that means, okay, so if you've ever been in the hospital and you put the little thing on your finger and they measure your oxygen, your O2 sats, right? And if they go below like 90, the nurses come running in and they kind of freak out and it's terrible and they have to give you the oxygen tube. Well, if you think about it, this is like an oxygen tube without the tube. Your body is being oxygenated at the cellular level. And when you have oxygen in your cells, they work better. And so your immune system becomes so much more rich because your cells at the cellular level are just working better. They're functioning. Another thing I wanted to say of the Slim, which I forgot to mention, is the chromium is a blood sugar regulator. And in the same way that BioCleanse oxygenates your blood, chromium, your cells are like a campfire, right? And so they are burning. So if you start a campfire, let's say you put 20 logs on it in the morning and you walk away for 4 hours, you come back, what do you have? You have embers. Okay, so then you have to carefully add logs a little bit, kindling, and try to blow on it to try to get that fire going again. A blood sugar regulator is like the man standing at your fire. Every 20 minutes, he puts on a log. Every 20 minutes, he puts on a log. So your cells burn at a good rate all the time. And there's none of this ups and downs. You don't have the crashes and the naps and all that. And the thing with immune function is that when your cells are burning at a regular rate, again, they're working top notch. And so they fight off disease top notch. So the other thing that this little baby does is after the battle, there's casualties everywhere, right? And they have to be cleaned up. You can't leave the carnage. So BioCleanse takes the carnage and sweeps it out of your system and gets rid of all the dead things, all the toxins, all the stuff you don't want in your gut. And so this is an amazing product. Actually, the TriPlex together is amazing. And if you give it time, like I said, you can't build an army overnight. You really have to give it time. But if you give it time, you will feel amazing. And like I said, I haven't been sick in years. And that excites me. I can't wait to help my friends not be sick. So anyway, that is my lesson for tonight. I hope you understand that the battle going on in your gut really does affect how you feel on a daily basis. And it is worth it to get your gut ramped up in your immune system to be a world-class fighting force. Anyway, have a great night. Thank you for joining me.